In a brightly lit kitchen, a quiet tension hangs heavy, despite the vibrant setting. Emma, once a lively spirit, now hunches over her phone, its glowing screen a barrier to the world. She reads a message and leaves to her room. The evening light casts long shadows across the living room as Noah, usually a whirlwind of energy, slumps in the doorway, lost in a world of his own silent thoughts. Dad walks in, looks at Noah, a flicker of confusion crossing his face as he senses the shift in atmosphere. Mum's voice, a soft, hopeful melody, asks Emma, "How was school today, sweetheart?" From behind the door, Emma's curt, chilling reply, "Fine," slices through the air like a blade. Noah is downstairs dribbling. His back stiffens as he senses his dad's soft steps approaching, the air thickening with unspoken tension. Dad's voice, barely a whisper, hangs in the air, filled with an unspoken plea. Noah's voice cuts through the silence, sharp and clear. "I said I'm not a little kid anymore." In the parents' bedroom, a profound realization of change settles between them, a palpable presence in the dimly lit room. Mum breaks the silence, her voice soft but filled with a deep truth. "Our children are growing." Dad sighs, a heavy sound that carries the immense weight of her words. In a classroom, Emma hunches her shoulders, her eyes darting around, clearly uncomfortable. On a football field, Noah sweats profusely, his face contorted in a grimace of stress during practice. Mum and Dad's faces are etched with deep concern as teachers speak to them in hushed, serious tones. Emma's and Noah's gaze reflect the overwhelming demands their lives, academics and athletics. At home, Emma sits hunched on her bed, her shoulders trembling, tears streaming freely down her face in silent anguish. Noah, lost in thought, pushes his food around his plate, his gaze fixed downward, avoiding all eye contact. A palpable discomfort fills the room, each silence louder than any words spoken. Dad clears his throat, a soft, almost hesitant sound, breaking the fragile quiet. His voice, gentle yet firm, pierces the tense atmosphere. "What's going on with you guys?" Mum's voice, a soft but thoughtful ripple, breaks the heavy silence, hinting at hidden depths. A fleeting flicker of vulnerability crosses his eyes as he listens. A silent admission of unease. He says, "I get people expect me to be good at everything." Mum's words hang in the air, a profound observation. Secondary school feels like a whole new world. Emma, her eyes still red-rimmed, adds softly, her voice echoing his pain, "And if you're not perfect, you get left out." Mum and Dad watch them, their faces etched with a blend of sadness and understanding, a silent burden shared. In the quiet hallway, the lingering silence of a cleared dinner table hangs heavy, a stark contrast to the memories it holds. Mum stands, her gaze fixed, a space now filled with absence. A wistful sigh escapes her lips as she murmurs, "I miss the old days." In the quiet living room, Dad approaches the bookshelf, his hand reaching with a tender reverence for a worn Bible. With a quiet devotion, he opens the book, finding solace in the familiar verses of Romans 8:30, 8:3-9. "Nothing can separate us from the love of God." The profound words hang in the air, a comforting balm in the quiet sanctity of the room. In the soft glow of a bedside lamp, Mum stands and takes a deep, steadying breath, her shoulders easing with newfound resolve as she processes Dad's earlier words. Her voice, clear and firm, echoes her conviction. If nothing separates them from God's love, then nothing separates us from loving them too. The dining room glows with a soft, inviting warmth, a silent testament to rekindled bonds. Mum's gaze is gentle, her eyes reflecting a lifetime of wisdom and unwavering love. She speaks, her words a soothing balm. Life in secondary school is big. A hopeful pause, then the profound assurance, "But you don't have to face it alone." Days later, Emma enters the kitchen, her body visibly trembling, a fragile shadow of her former self. "It just feels like everyone judging me," she says. She enfolds Emma in a comforting embrace, a sanctuary from the storm brewing within. Mum whispers, her voice a balm, You are worth more than that. Dad walks in and adds, with quiet conviction, your value isn't decided by what secondary school says about you. Meanwhile, on the pitch, Noah sits alone on a desolate bench, his slumped shoulders reflecting a profound dejection as he backs the football team practice. Dad unexpectedly arrives. His eyes, filled with deep understanding, convey a silent empathy for Noah's disappointment. Later that night, Noah slowly walks into the living room, his shoulders visibly slumped with exhaustion or deep disappointment. Dad's gaze is gentle, filled with unspoken understanding as Noah approaches. He moves with a comforting grace, settling beside Noah, his presence a silent pillar of support. Dad's eyes, full of warmth, meet Noah's downcast gaze in the quiet living room. You worked hard, Dad says, his voice a warm, reassuring balm in the quiet night. Dad's voice is gentle yet firm. Your worth isn't tied to a team shirt. Weeks later, the kitchen hums with a new, relaxed energy, bathed in the soft evening light. Emma, with an unprompted act of kindness, helps Noah organize his school books for the next day. Noah, surprised and grateful, accepts Emma's help, a rare moment of sibling harmony. A tender, quiet smile spreads across Mum's face, a silent testament to the warmth filling the room. Dad observes Noah, who lingers at the dinner table, a stark contrast to his usual hasty exits. An easy, comfortable silence now envelops all of them, a testament to their evolving bond. Noah's unhurried presence speaks volumes, a quiet revolution unfolding at the dinner table. Mum and Dad lie in bed, a palpable serenity between them, their forms silhouetted against the dim light. Mum's gaze drifts into the distance, lost in a silent reverie, her thoughts a mystery in the still night. Our teenagers are still ours, just growing, Mum whispers, her voice a tender reflection of love and acceptance. Emma's radiant laughter fills the air, a beacon of pure joy, as she shares an intimate moment with a dear friend. Noah, swift and focused, scores a triumphant goal, his face illuminated by a victorious grin. Mum and Dad lean in, their expressions etched with attentive engagement, and they say, nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate us from God's love, and by extension, from our family's love.